You have that slide with the verse on it. So this verse for me just kind of encompasses my testimony that I'm going to share with you guys. It just says, "In my distress I called upon the Lord. To my God I cried for help from his temple. He heard my voice, and my cry to him reached his ears." I grew up in a Christian home and got saved pretty much at a young age. But through my life, I just struggled very much with just feeling loved and accepted, and just really struggled heavily with depression. And it just happened in so many different ways. I went to a Christian school, and a lot of my friends were not really walking with the Lord, and I admired them, and I wanted to be like them, but for some reason I just didn't fit in with them. At home, me and my dad, although he was there physically, we just didn't connect, and we argued a lot, and just didn't have a good relationship. And for me, I thought that was, cool. Like, yo, I don't need my dad. I'm good. But just it crept in and just began to just pile over. And yeah, just didn't feel loved, didn't feel accepted. Would talk to God, but just didn't feel very connected to God in terms of just like really feeling like God heard me. You know what I mean? And some of you guys can relate to that. It's like you're talking to God, but you don't really feel like God's listening in a sense. And I can just remember that it all came to kind of like a breaking point in my life. 12th grade, senior year of high school, I just had this relationship that kind of just went sour, and just really kind of was like the last straw, so to speak. And it just kind of broke down, and I just like cried out to God, like, God, what's going on? Like, what is all this in my life that I'm dealing with? Why am I struggling in this area? And for me, just even with the depression, would just cope with it in very unhealthy ways. But I can remember that particular moment was a watermark in my life as a believer. I wish I could tell you that at that moment I was completely freed from depression, but it was that moment that I know that God heard me. And throughout the next couple months, I could really begin to feel God's peace, and God really comforting me in that moment. And throughout the next couple years, I could really see that God was working in my life, and that God was really beginning to deliver me and set me free and show me that I can call out to God when I needed him. You know what I mean? And not only that, but he really hears when you cry out to him. And for me, that was that moment that I could say, God, I can go to you for anything. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what it is, and whether big or small, or to whoever it seems big or small to, like, you can take that to God, and God will hear you, and God listens. And for me, that was such an awesome thing, because, I continue to go through things or whatever in my life or whatever. My life's not perfect, but now I know, and I trust that God, like, no matter what I'm going through, I know that you hear me. You know what I mean? And so that's my testimony, that God heard me, and that, I encourage you guys, whatever you're going through, like, you can take it to God, and God loves you. God will hear you. And so I hope that encourages you guys.